Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am spending my few minutes that I have free outside getting this feed tank replanted for the winter. Now you might remember a few weeks ago when Aiden and I were cutting back all of this Phlox paniculata, we went ahead and ripped out the blackberries that were in here, and that was because, to be perfectly frank, I don't really like the blackberries. I was originally planning to transplant some raspberries in here, but I've decided against it because in the summer when they're fruiting, this is practically impossible to get to because the phlox grows up so tall, and this is also really hard to water. So I was thinking for the summertime, I would actually fill this with succulents. For the winter season though, I'm gonna go ahead and seed it with a bunch of different grains and of course some poppies. But my first step is to fresh soil cube to top off this feed tank planter. I think it's probably gonna be at least one wheelbarrow, maybe two. So stay tuned to watch my progress. So it occurred to me while I was filling that feed tank that I do have a whole bunch of shrubs in the greenhouse waiting for new space to be created, and I thought maybe I'd come in here and see if I have anything that would look interesting enough in there that would tolerate it. And I have these two trial Indian hawthorns, which really aren't one of my favorite plants, but this is called Raphiolepis lavita moss, and obviously they're from proven winners. And I think this might be the right place to put them. And you know, I don't give this container very much love. So if they don't make it, they don't make it. That's fine. Again, I'm not a huge Indian hawthorn fan. Just a personal preference. They're not really a plant I get excited over. But I figured, why not? Better than keeping them in the greenhouse and not getting them planted. So I'm gonna go ahead and add these primarily because they're broadleaf evergreens and they'll give it a little more interest. And then I'm gonna go ahead and still do a bunch of seeds. And just to clarify, I'm certainly not talking badly about these plants. I don't know anything at all about this variety. I'm just saying that Raphiolepis is a genera that doesn't particularly interest me. And in recent years with, major temperature fluctuations, it's definitely been a plant that hasn't been very reliable. In fact, last year after the holiday freeze, a lot of these just died straight up. They didn't even die to the ground. They just died completely. So I guess, this is the point of being a trialer for plants, and gonna just go ahead and get these put in. I'm putting them towards the front because, again, their main attribute is that they hold their foliage through the winter. Everything else that I'm putting in here is going to be from seed, so it's not going to look like much, at least for the next month or so. And, well, I can always change it, which I suspect I will do, because I really like the idea of putting a bunch of succulents in here, because this is just a really hard spot to water when the phlox is this tall. And my hose that's conveniently placed right back there doesn't actually reach this container. So it takes a lot of extra effort to get this watered, which is why I originally had it planted with blackberries. Okay, well, so I think these anchor it. That's good. I'm gonna make sure that I keep a tag so that I don't lose track of what they are, because I've basically already forgotten their name. Just gonna bury that in there. And now, let's look at my magical basket of seeds. Well, I had already determined that I definitely wanted to do oats. So I'm gonna do 3 clumps of oats across the back. And then mixed in, I've got this mother of pearl papaver race, which is the Shirley poppy. And then I've got some of Kubby's poppy, the papaver somniferum, that was really like lavender gray and like a pom-pom formal double. And well, I'm just trying to spread Kubby's poppies all over the garden because we miss him so much. He was one of the greatest cats of all time. And well, hopefully they'll actually come true from seed, which is kind of a long shot considering how many poppies I grow and how efficient the bees are at moving pollen from plant to plant, but you never know. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the oats. And I know I've shown this process a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it again. 1 seed pack is perfect for 1 clump. And I'm just kind of making a small hole, scattering it like that, and covering it back up. I really want it to look like an ornamental grass, so I want to make sure that they stay in clump form. Do another one here in the middle. And at this season, you know, we're in the first week of January here in central North Carolina. Everything is taking about 2 to 3 weeks to germinate now because the soil is much cooler than it was in December, which is great. That way nothing is growing too rapidly. So if we do suddenly get really cold, I don't have to worry too much about the seedlings being tender. All right, so those are in. And now I'm gonna go ahead and scatter some Kubby poppy sort of here in the middle and amongst. And finally, what I like about the wreath poppies is how much shorter they are. And these are really pretty. This is a variety I've not grown before, this mother of pearl. So hopefully they'll do well. I feel like keeping them here in this pot is kind of a safe bet. Get it scattered all over. All right. Well, it's kind of anticlimactic, but this little project did get me out of my office, off of the computer for at least 20 minutes so I could get some fresh air and sunshine. And that is really my main goal here. Now, I can't call this bed finished until I take some time to get all the chickweed weeded out, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a nice healthy layer of mulch over this whole bed in hopes of preventing more weed seeds from. I've really struggled with chickweed in the last couple of years in this bed, which is predominantly a monoculture of Phlox paniculata bright eyes. I didn't even plant the bright eyes, just so you know. That actually came in on in a root ball from a plant from my other garden, like when I moved here, and it's just taken over. And I love it. The swallowtails love it. I don't want to change it at all, but I definitely would like to reduce the amount of chickweed that gets established. So I think doing a really good weeding and then a heavy mulch will make a big difference. So you have to stay tuned to watch my continued progress right here from my central North Carolina garden. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and happy gardening.